In our morning rounds, a preliminary study about autism is raising concerns in the medical community. Researchers found new mothers with high levels of folic acid and vitamin B12 were more likely to have kids diagnosed with autism spectrum disorder. Doctors and health officials stress that women should keep taking prenatal supplements proven to prevent other serious birth defects. Our Dr. Tara Narula is just back from maternity leave and joins us. Tara, welcome back.
Thank you. Good morning.
So, first, how's the baby?
She's terrific. We're in love.
And her big sister?
Her big sister's doing well. Thank you.
Sienna. So
Does she love her little sister?
She does. She does. At times she doesn't, but most of the time she does.
This is a really interesting study because, as you know, as a recent mother, and I remember, it's one of the first rules you get, you know, take folic acid. It's so important. What did this study find?
Right. So researchers analyzed 1,400 mother-child pairs from a single center in Boston. They basically took the blood from the mother 1 to 3 days after she gave birth. They asked her about her supplement use, and then they followed the children out for 15 years. They found that women who had very high levels of folic acid in the blood were 2 times more likely to have a child diagnosed with ASD. If they had very high levels of B12, 3 times more likely. And if they had very high levels of both folate and B12, they were 17 times more likely. Now, it's very important to understand this was a small study. It's not been published yet in a journal. It's just an abstract. It's not peer-reviewed. It was a single center, so there are a lot of limitations. It's very preliminary data.
Does it recommend how much?
The recommendation for how much folic acid a woman should get is 400 to 800 micrograms per day for most women of childbearing age. And the important thing is that they take it the entire time in their 20s to 40s, because when you get pregnant, you may not know you're pregnant. The early weeks of pregnancy are the times when the neural tube is forming. That is the spine, the brain, and that is the birth defect that we see when a woman lacks folic acid.
the headline is a little frightening when you first see it.
It is. It is.
But yet all the major health groups, the CDC, the OBGYNs, the Mount Your Dimes, even the researchers that study still say that you should take it. So
And
I don't
why.
think we don't want that point to be missed.
Absolutely. That's why we're reporting on it.
Yeah.
You know, is to say that the headline can be misleading. The CDC still says about 1 out of 4 women don't get enough folic acid, and neural tube defects account for about 3,000 pregnancies a year. And because of our public health measures to educate women about folic acid, we've been able to decrease these birth defects by about 1,000 a year.
So there's lots of studies that show a correlation and not necessary causation.
Right.
So what do you think is behind the fact that these women who have elevated levels of this vitamin and folic acid have children who have an increased likelihood to have autism?
We don't know. There are a lot of possible mechanisms. One is that they ate a lot of food that had folate in it. They used a lot of supplements that had folate in it. They somehow absorbed more of the folate than other women did, or they didn't metabolize it or break it down as well. So the levels were higher in their blood. But really, there's a lot of unanswered questions. We don't know.
And to be clear, the current medical view of how autism is caused is what?
Well, I think we don't really know. There are a lot of questions about what is happening in early production during the fetal growth and times that could be precipitating the development of autism down the road.
I thought it was environmental triggers for a predisposition genetically.
It can be, and I think, but the question is what environmental trigger? We don't really know. We haven't isolated it yet.
Good information, thank you.
But for now, keep taking your folic
Absolutely,
acid.
bottom line, keep taking your folic
Just
acid.
not too much.
All right, not too much, that's right.
Say hello to the baby.
Yeah.
Thank you.
And the dad and the big sister. Say hello to the
Thank
whole
you.
family. Thanks. Dr. Tara Narula joining us back, and we're glad she's back. Thank you.